can he be happy when I am upset? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell. Thank you very much for your response for our previous video, especially the 13th anniversary one. Some of you even called us up, rang us up to tell us how you liked it and how it's useful for you. Thank you so much for the appreciation. Today we thought we'll do another video. In that video, we had given you a brief about what our relationship is like. So today we thought we'll tell you about the challenges that we faced and how we dealt with it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So in the initial year, so usually it's like this. The first couple of years after you get married, it's called the honeymoon period and everything is fine. And then slowly things start dwindling down. So in our case, the major challenge that we faced was financial. So both of us were in and out of jobs. Sometimes he would have a job and then he would be out of his job and I would take up another job. And so during this time, this is the time people usually have this friction, because all said and done, you have bills to pay. And then you have opinions of people. People tell you what your man is supposed to do. For me, that was a big thing. Now everybody's talking about Deepak not having a job. So, oh my God, I need to safeguard his image. I need to make sure that the house is running. So how do we do this? And then I would pressurize him to take up something and he would already be depressed, not knowing what to do. The thing is, both of us didn't know what we were really happy doing. We didn't know what we wanted to do in life. We were just taking up jobs just for the sake of it. And during that time, he would quit a job and then I would pressurize him saying, you know what, you need to go and do this, you need to go and do that. And that wasn't going well at all. That would drive him further into the rabbit hole. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have nothing to say?
A little lost.
Yeah, so then I realized it was more about my, so we used to have some issues, not major issues, but yeah, we never used to be very happy. During that phase, on and off, we used to have fights. Basically about this.
Basically disagreements.
Disagreements about certain things. And then I realized, I thought about it, like, what do we ultimately want? Yeah, he takes up a job for what? To earn money, yes. Ultimately, we're looking at doing all this for our happiness. And if he's not happy doing whatever he's doing, what is the point? So our priority has always been our happiness and our physical and mental health. So mental health was at an all-time low. Physical health was at an all-time low because of the stress that we were taking. And then I decided, let me find out why he doesn't want to do this. Because sometimes even I have quit jobs because I wasn't happy. Being at that place, I would fall sick. So in my case, it was that I had a very, a safe strategy there where I would fall sick and I was forced to leave the job. So then I realized I don't need to fall sick, or I don't want him to fall sick to escape from that discomfort that he was going through in his work.
So basically it was more to do with, since I was young itself, I was not very inclined to going and working for someone and taking orders and stuff like that. It doesn't really resonate with what I am, who I am. And I wanted to do something of my own, but never knew how to start off something of my own. And every time I went and worked for somebody, did something that, the usual office 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or 9 to 9 work, you tend to have to do what you are asked to do. And that's in the earlier stages of, when you start to work and stuff like that. And I never had a drive to work with someone because I never had a goal on what I wanted to do in life. My basic goal was I wanted to stay with her. I was really happy after our marriage, I was really happy with her and I wanted to stay with her. But that is not going to be the final outcome of, you have to earn money. You have to go and work to earn money to be happy in your life in today's reality. But the whole idea of this was that I wanted to be happy not just with her, but with the work I was doing, with who I am. And the more I was doing the work that I didn't really want to do, the more unhappy I got. And when you're unhappy, you don't really exude excitement or happiness or any of those things. So you tend to not have a great, what do you say,
Advancement.
space in yourself or your relationship or anything you're doing. So when you're doing something, you for me, I've always believed that you do something that you really love to do. Maybe you love to do that for, I don't know, a couple of months, and then you'll realize, you know what, I don't like to do that. I want to do something else.
Yeah, the
But
thing is, none of us are given any booklets or workbooks or training on how to live our lives, how to
yeah,
create our lives, be it relationship, be it making money, anything. We are not trained very well in that on in those spaces. So what happens is we try something, it works. Okay, if it doesn't work, we try something else. So through trial and error, we learn a lot of things. But unfortunately, there is a stigma attached to this financial part of it. So we don't like to tell people about our financial situation. If it is bad, oh my God, I don't want people to know about this. I don't want
hide,
people, yeah.
hide
So
that whole
you
thing. Do
have to
not
put
ask
up a
for help.
different image. That is so strenuous.
See, I agree. Asking money from people is not something that any of us want to do. And the idea is not to ask for money from people, but to find out what you want to do. And
And
to
be
find out what you want to
and
do,
just look at it as just another area of your life. So if you've fallen sick, if you have a fever, you tell people that I'm not feeling well. But when it comes to money, we cannot tell people that. It's so difficult to tell them, oh
it's
no,
shameful.
it's very shameful. There's a lot
So
of shame attached to
that's
that.
the whole point. That we've gone through a lot of that in our lives also, because we've hidden it from a lot of people, and the people who knew about it uh, obviously shamed us. Obviously looked at it and said, it doesn't matter whether you like doing it or don't like doing it. You just have to do it. And I agree. Sometimes when you're in that situation, you have to just do it, but that doesn't really do great for yourself or your relationship or your advancement in life. When a lot of people have done a lot of things, work in their life, and if you've noticed, only the people who really love what they're doing or really know what they're doing really advance in life. 10 years, 20 years, 15, 20 years
It
from
might
now,
take some time. Initially,
yeah,
it may not
they
show,
might
but
they might advance in
they take
life, but
small steps and they keep
yeah,
advancing.
but only when they like what they're doing. When you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to have the mental capacity to ideate, to get new um, perspectives or ideas about that thing that you're doing to advance in that career. So I've been in the hotel industry for a long time. I've been in the advertising industry for a long time, and there are areas of these industries that I really liked, but not the industry as such. Even in the healing and coaching industry, I was there, but there are certain aspects of it that I like. It is not uh, the path that is laid for you is not 100% for you necessarily, because it is created by somebody who really liked what they were doing, and you're following that person's idea or their path, and it doesn't necessarily have to fall right into what you love to do. So what I've done over a period of time is there was a lot of confusion in my life. There was a lot of times that I lost jobs, I quit jobs because I didn't like it. A lot of things has happened, and I think a lot of you out there also have gone through these phases, especially in today's world. But what we tend to do is we tend to hate the kind of work we do, not knowing that it's not the work that we hate, it's the environment of that work that we hate or we don't like. There are aspects of that work that really resonate with you, that you really do like doing. So what I've done over a period of time is take those aspects, those areas of that work that I really like to do, and now we work together. We're coaches. We are into the hospitality. The cottage behind you is called the Perch. We've created that space also, where it's in the hospitality industry. I like automobiles, so I'm creating something else with the automobile, with cars.
Yeah, so once you
So
have clarity, there is no limit to how much you can create.
yeah,
But
you
as
don't have
long
to.
as we are not open even with ourselves, we cannot be, because we are constantly spending all the energy on shielding ourselves from other people's judgments and perceptions, and you're shameful.
And
And
most of the time, it's only that. It is us trying to shield ourselves from what we perceive as outside judgment. The outside judgment does not come because of outside judgment. It is from our own space, from a space that we're not happy with who we are, what we're doing, and that shows to other people on through your body language, through the way you speak, to what you're talking about. Everything shows. So you tend to kind of cocoon yourself and shy
Sometimes we
away
even
from
blame
people.
other people
Yeah,
for what
yeah.
they say. But and again, our energy gets diverted there rather than creating something for ourselves.
So it's like for a long time in my life, I've blamed so many people. I blame my parents. I blame my bosses. I blamed my coworkers. Everything to give an excuse to why I am not doing well or I'm not working in a particular organization. I don't like working in a particular thing. But the whole idea is that once you get clarity on what you want to do, none of that matters, and you realize that all these people have been pushing you or doing certain things with you only because they, from their perspective of life, they have been wanting you to advance in life or do something good or advance their own businesses or whatever it is, right?
Everybody has
So
their own agendas.
yeah, and the whole idea of you being hired by an organization is because they, in the initial stages, think, okay, you can, help them grow, help them become better. And when you don't help them become better, you are not an asset, you become a liability there. And no organization wants to lose money, right? It's just like a relationship. No relationship likes to lose themselves, right? They want to advance, they want to become better, happier, more vibrant in who they are. And in a relationship, where what happens is that when you um, aren't really complementing each other, you are uh, bringing each other down.
So, what really helped our relationship is the fact that I decided that I was going to give him the space that he required
Yeah.
and not get disappointed with my expectations of how my life is supposed to be. It can take its course, it can take its time to show up. Because happiness is our priority again. Number one priority was happiness. Both of us need to be happy. So I said, okay, let him figure it out. It might take years. It actually took us over 10 years for us, both of us, to figure out what we wanted to do in life.
The funny part was, for her, it was a very different scenario when she was working. Every time somebody gave her a promotion, she would get scared and quit, which was really funny for me because in whatever work I did, I never got a promotion to quit. I just didn't like what I was doing, so I
So
quit.
I had to do some internal work for that to find out why I was doing that.
So we
Uh,
both got together, started working with each other, trying to identify what was happening, why we didn't like what we were doing, what was it? Was it actually the work that we were doing that we didn't like? Because at the end of the day, that was affecting our relationship in terms of, from the financial standpoint also, if you look at it, it was something that was, you need money to live, to survive, to enjoy, to do anything in life. You need money, right, in today's world. And when you don't have it, you tend to stress, and when you tend to stress, you can't think properly. When you
you
can't
don't
think
get
properly, you
clarity.
tend to point fingers, and when you point fingers, it doesn't do great for your relationship. And uh, like I told you in the earlier video, there's something called trust that is very, very required. And that trust isn't something that's built overnight. It's
Yes.
something that you have experiences and you have disagreements, all that happens, but you build that trust by listening, understanding, and trying to find a solution rather than pointing fingers and saying you're at fault. It is not about ego. It is about trying to find a solution. What is your priority? Your priority is about um, having a great relationship with somebody you love, to advance that up, to make it much more strong, to make it a force to be reckoned with, if you may. But in the initial stages, that's not going to be. In the initial stages, when you get married, it is love. There is love, but it's more lust, right? And over a period of time, that lust turns a corner, and you get used to the person, and then it's about knowing more about that person
Sometimes we even
to.
stop expressing how much we love each other. So So once in a while I go say, I love you, Ripu. So he tells me, I love
Yeah,
you too.
just for the heck of it, just
And then just giving a hug, because we generally don't, after some time, like, oh, I'm mature, or
yeah.
my kids have grown up, so I don't need to express love. We all need that nurturing and care from our partners. So
We all see, there doesn't have to be a reason. Was there a reason in the initial stage? There was no reason. You just liked the person, you saw the person, you wanted to kiss the person, you kissed the person. I'm talking about your partner, not everyone else, but you like that person and you just wanted to give a hug or a kiss or whatever it is. And today it becomes, you've gotten into a space where you're comfortable, and over a period of time you tend to um, get into that same routine of not
we stop
requiring to show.
appreciating each
Yeah,
other. The
yeah.
little things, sometimes it's as simple as cleaning up my cupboard. So he'll say, oh, Nishi, you finally cleaned your cupboard. It looks so good, rather than just ignoring it. And then, like, there is no reward, because we all work on that appreciation and the
Everything,
reward
every
and the
day.
care and the
And
nurturing.
it's not about a woman has this job, she has to look after our house, a man has to go out and work and come back. I mean, for a long time we tried to fit into that social norm of being in that space, that I had to go out and work. And there was a lot of shame in that, and she had to look after the house. It didn't work for us. I don't know how it works for the rest of you, but it didn't work for us. For us, it was about supporting each other in everything. When I didn't have a job, when I didn't want to go and work also, she used to work
So
outside, she used
I
to get a
looked at
job and
it
come
this
back.
way, just like, he's a child. I'm not looking at him as a boy or a
A
girl.
bald, bearded child.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the equality part of it. People talk about women are equal and all that. Why does it differ when it comes to this? That it is only a man's job to go and fend for his family. If he doesn't, he's a failure. I don't agree, because there are times when I don't want to work. It's the same for him. Why is it that he is not allowed to do that?
Yeah.
So it is just a conditioning that we've grown up with.
So, at the end of the day, today who I am, I completely give credit to her for it, because she had the patience to stay and uh, talk to me, understand it, and give me the space and the knowledge, or accumulate knowledge to be able to understand what I wanted to do. Sometimes we all grow up in life, and then there are a few people who know from childhood what they want to become, what they want to do, and they go in for it, and it's great. But there are a lot of us who have no clue in life what we want to do, and sometimes it takes years for us,
Yeah, we try
decades
and
for
we
us.
fail and we try and we fail, and sometimes we think, oh my god,
And
I am a failure. But no, you're not.
and
It's
what
just that
happens
the
is,
things that you
yeah,
tried didn't work out.
see, it's not about anybody being a failure. It's about the fact that you probably need support at that point of time, and when you don't get support, you tend to feel dejected, useless, worthless. All that happens, but you have to understand that it is not the end of the world. It is not the end of your life for when something like that happens. It's just that you don't know what you want to do, and get away from people who are constantly pushing you to do what you don't want to do, because it is not because they are bad. It is because they have certain ways they have led their life, their perspectives of life, how they experience their life, and how they have advanced in their life does not necessarily have to resonate with how you have to advance your life.
Yeah,
Right?
so if you need to take a break, take a break. It's okay.
Maybe you don't have the money to take a break, it's fine, but
No, I'm talking about taking a break from meeting people for
yeah,
some time.
yeah.
Go into your space and figure out what you want to
Some,
do. It's
some
okay.
of the most brilliant minds in the world have become so famous, have become so renowned only because of one thing. Understand that they stayed away. They isolated themselves to understand what they wanted, what they were trying to create. When they are bombarded with so much of information from so many different people from so many different perspectives, you tend to get confused on what you really need to do. People will have their own perspectives of it. Identify what you want to do in your own isolated space. And isolation, that doesn't mean going into a depressive space. When you are feeling completely depressed, reach out. Anybody, reach out and talk to somebody. Release that bent up problem in you. or whatever is holding you back, you need to release that. You need to
Yeah,
get
so
it out.
for me, whenever
Only
I feel low, I talk to him, and then I feel better. We wouldn't have reached to any solution, but just by expressing, we feel better for some time.
and the fact that somebody might be listening.
Yeah.
So in today's world, there's a lot of stigma about mental health or mental. You're going to a therapist. You have mental problems. I'm sorry, that is so ridiculous, because when you are talking to somebody, if it's a therapist, you're talking to that person. You're releasing all that anxiety within you, and when you release the anxiety, when you talk things out, automatically what happens is you start getting clarity in your mind of what you want to do, because unless the glass is emptied, you can't refill it. And if you have muddy water in it, you need to get rid of that muddy water to fill in clear water. And if you stick with that muddy water, it's not going to help. You need to talk to somebody. You need to talk to somebody. I have somebody I can talk to in my relationship, and a lot of people in your relationships, you have a partner who's there with you 24/7. Use that. Whatever stresses you might have, I've seen in a lot of relationships where the couple says, it's my money, my problems. I can't put that onto my partner. It's not about you putting it onto your partner. It's about sharing it with your partner, trusting each other, trying to find solutions with each other because it's your lives. It's not just one person's life. It's both of your lives. Whatever you do, discuss it as partners. You might have partners in your business, you might have bosses in office, but there is no bigger partnership than your wife or your husband. And the first thing is that you have to be willing to be to let go of your ego of I'm bigger, I know more, I know better. Everyone knows something, right? You might know something about the financial space. Yes, great. You're bringing in money. All that stuff is fine. But there are certain aspects of from your emotional space, or even from your financial standpoint, that you might not have thought about because of the stress you're going through. And when you discuss these things, you balance the scale. Instead of being completely weighed down with something, when you talk to somebody, the scale gets balanced, and you start growing together because of new ideation, new thought patterns.
So I've had people coming and telling me about how long do I support. I'm getting tired. So there is no set time period for this. Sometimes it takes longer. So you just need to hang in there, be there for the other person, and keep reminding yourself about what is it that you ultimately want.
And what are the things that you really like about this person that you're with?
Yeah.
Because we are not with our partners because we have to be. When you don't have to be with your partners, you can leave them and go. I mean, both of you can decide and say, you know what, we have better lives when we are separately. It's fine. But when you're together, the reasons you're together, you should you go into why you like each other in the first place, why you like to be together in the first place. Over a period of time, what happens is that we start focusing on only the not so nice things about each other, right? Say, for example, your partner has 100 qualities, and out of those 100 qualities, he or she has got 10 bad qualities and 90 good qualities.
10 annoying qualities that you can't
stand. What we tend to focus on over a period of time is those 10 bad qualities or those annoying qualities, or whatever it may be. And you constantly keep focusing on that. And over a period of time, just like in the last episode of Learn, I told you that when you're reading a book and you're reading a word, everything else blurs out, right? It's the same thing over here. You're focusing on this. None of the other qualities are even in focus. You don't even realize.
I've done that too. So I used to focus on him sitting, and he loves playing games. So he'll be sitting and playing games, and I get annoyed saying, oh, he's not coming to sleep, he's not doing that, he's not doing this. And the more I focused on that, the more I saw only that. And I would get really angry. And the thing I've noticed is when I get upset about something, I keep on thinking. I just think till I go crazy. So this started happening, and then I realized, oh, okay, this is what I'm focusing on. Wait a minute, what can I do now? Then I said, okay, what are the things that he does that I like? And I found a lot of things that he was actually doing to contribute to my life. When I shifted my focus, this thing that he was doing, this playing games for hours together, slowly started dwindling, the number of hours. So like instead of 3 hours, he was spending maybe 1.5 hours, and then 1 hour, and then I was seeing more of what he was doing that made me happy than what was making me unhappy.
It might seem a little fantastical or unreal to you, but this is how all of us lead our lives. We tend to focus on the bad things in our lives, and we constantly keep seeing those things. It doesn't have to be just our relationships. It can be anything
It's a
else.
natural process because
Yeah.
we look at it as a threat to our survival. Somewhere in our
Yeah.
subconscious, that's a threat to our survival.
And when
So
we
we
were-
are constantly focusing on that.
During the humans' early times, you had to be afraid. You had to be constantly in fear of something coming and harming you. So you needed to be aware, and that fear like kept you safe.
Say. So today, these are the things that you perceive as threats.
And you're using
these
that even today.
threats, yeah, these threats keep coming up. So till you till you pause, take a break, and ask. So you use your conscious mind there, asking, is this really a threat? Should I be worried about it? And the minute you do that, your emotional hijack stops right there. Otherwise, you go, like I said, I would think and think and think and then cry about it because already the emotional hijack has happened.
And when you need to get your control back, you need to
Employ your conscious mind right there.
so when you need to employ your conscious mind, you need to how do you say it, get that hijack off. When you need to get that hijack off, you, like in NLP they say, name it to tame it. Name the emotion to tame the emotion. So the moment you name it, you are basically using your conscious mind, which is your cortical region, to take control, right? When it takes control, you automatically start to quell the amygdala or the emotional hijack space, and from that space you get to start to think a little more clearly. When you start to be able to think consciously and clearly, you start identifying what you want rather than just just reacting to a situation. What is the solution you're looking for in that situation? So if you look at a relationship, in our relationship, there were a lot of times when we've got emotionally hijacked and we've done stupid things,
We
said
say
stupid things.
that cannot be
And
taken, that hurts the other person a lot.
People might say, yes, you can't take it back, but the fact is you can. There are things that you might say that might hurt,
You can
but
always apologize for that.
it is not something you mean at that point of time, and I think your partner also knows it. As long as you talk it out and apologize for it and find a common ground after that, because if you stay with your ego, even if you're feeling bad
Sometimes
with
you
it,
just want to be right.
yeah,
So you're not
it
willing
doesn't
to
make sense.
receive the apology
So
itself
you
because you want the other person to be wrong and feel good about it.
So it's not about staying in that. You have to ask yourself: do you want that? Is that what you are trying to?
What is it going to give you?
Yeah, is that what your goal is? Is your goal to stay with your ego and say that I'm right and you're wrong? So as long as I prove that you're wrong, I'll be happy. You're not happy. You're not going to be happy. Both of you are going to be constantly at each other's throats saying, no, it was your fault, and you can feel it in your body that you're not happy at all. So identify what has happened. When you feel that it wasn't right, talk about it. Say whatever it is, and it will change. That relationship will get stronger. The partner you have will realize that you are not a threat, but you are somebody who is the strength, the one who's going to be with you to go advance in life, right? To be happier, to be a lot more enriched in life. So this is what we've done over a long period of time. We've had our disagreements, we've had our fights, we've had, just like every other couple has. But the difference I've seen is that we have looked at each other as partners and not as competitors. And competition is good actually, as long as it's healthy, but we're not looked at each other as threats. Okay, there are some couples that have a complaint of, oh, I don't say anything to X person because they go and spread it around to the entire world. You have to understand that they might be doing that, but have you spoken to them about it? And when I say spoken to them about it, not from an authoritative space, but to talk to each other about it. And the other person might be doing that, or talking to people around because they don't have anybody else to talk to. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. And when you become that person who the other person can talk to, there is nobody else that is required. You discuss, you identify, there are mistakes that we do in a relationship. Each of us will make mistakes. We're all human, we will make mistakes. But to identify those mistakes and talk it out and say, you know what, I don't want this to be told out, or let's keep these things inside within us, and that becomes clear. Clarity comes into the relationship, and you know what the other person likes. That's how you build up a relationship. And I'm not talking like I'm the authority on relationship, but it has helped us so far. 13 years, it has helped us really well, because there were times when we had gone to the edge when we thought, oh, this is not going to work out. But even at that age, we realized that, it's not the world that we want. We want this. We don't want, it's not about friends or going for parties or having liquor or any of that. That is not what we want. We want this, because this is more intoxicating than anything out there. This is stronger than anything out there,
and
it
that's
can
something you build over.
You build
over the years.
It's like it's just like a building. If the foundation is strong, you can build as high as you want. But to build that foundation, you have to be able to sit down and exchange ideas, exchange self. You can't expect the other person to just say, oh, I know who you are, or you should know who I am. They can't. They know who they are from their perspective, and they see you from their perspective. So they will expect certain things from that perspective, unless you talk to them about your perspective or what you feel. What are the things you're strong at? And use each other's strengths to advance. I might have certain weaknesses that she has massive strengths on, and she has certain weaknesses that I have massive strengths on, and we have constantly been using each other's weaknesses and strengths to build each other, knowing each other's weaknesses. We have been sharing each other's strengths, not using the weakness to put the other one down, right? So that is what our relationship has been about. And through financial, through the job circuit, through everything, today we are in a space where we have our own world, where we've started our own businesses. And it's not just one business, we've started multiple businesses, because these businesses are from our strength. We have both stood together. It took us
time to identify that.
Yeah, we've created steps for each of us to advance. There are certain times you will find a ladder that does not have a step. The other person will have that step with them. Create that to help the other person grow up, your partner grow up, because the moment your partner grows up or gets to the wall, your partner will put a rope down or put a hand down to let you climb up. So you might need to advance from stage here, whereas from here you're not able to do anything, but your partner can get to the stage. When your partner gets to the stage, they can pull you up. But if you put your partner down, you're going to be here, she's going to be here, and it's not going to help, right? The idea is to advance in the relationship, and that's what we've done in our time together so far, and we're hoping to do that for the rest of our lives too, and hoping that we will be able to do this for others also, because in our work we are coaches, we are motivational speakers, so we are looking at advancing our entire environment. So our environment includes you guys also. So the idea of putting up this video is not just for the sake of putting up this video. The idea of putting up this video is that somebody out there might get some idea or help from this, from our experience, and where they feel
that
stopped.
It's not wrong to have problems in relationships. It's okay. we can handle it. We
It's
can
not
look at
about
it.
the Instagram pictures or
Yeah.
stuff that is put up online of these really happy pictures, and every one of us looks at it and say, "Oh, I hope my life is like that." No, your life is so much better than an Instagram picture. It is much better than anything out there. You just have to invest a little time within your relationship to understand each other.
And there's one very important thing that I forgot to talk about. This is about being resourceful yourself, not depend entirely on your partner for your happiness. That's the most important thing I felt,
Yeah.
because when he's in a bad mood, if I go down that drain, I am going to be very upset. So what I do is, because he's somebody who needs his space, when he's not in the right space, he wants to sit and binge watch or do whatever, play games. And at that time, if I go and nag him and say, "Come, let's talk. I need to talk about this thing is annoying me," that's not going to work. We end up fighting. So what I do is, I find those little things that make me happy. For me, it's cooking, it's singing, or just reading some books. So I find those things, and I maintain my space clean. I create that sanctuary for myself so that my environment doesn't affect me. Yes, it is there. I'm not going to let go of it. Yeah, there is something I need to discuss, but this is not the right time. So that can wait. Meanwhile, I'm going to be happy. I'll stay happy. I'm not going to sit with a grumpy face, because that's not going to help
And by
again.
just saying I'm going to be happy, it's not going to work that
Yeah.
way. You're going to continue doing what you want to do that makes you happy.
Yeah.
So what happens is, when you are when the other person needs some space, and everybody, like I said last time also, they need a process. Everybody has their own process, and when you need your space, you just need to be left in your space. And
For me,
if you
it's
are,
different. When I'm upset, I want him to come and talk to me.
yeah,
Because if I see him being happy, that's going to make me feel even worse. How can he be happy when I am upset? So our processes are different. So understand that, but be happy yourself. Don't depend on them for your entire happiness.
yeah,
But when you're together, work towards creating a great relationship together.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope this has helped you guys in some way or the other. And if you liked what you saw, do like and subscribe with us. And do press the bell icon for any notifications on our upcoming videos. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
and see you
Thank you for
soon.
watching.
Bye bye.